I guess I should say we're back. Alright, so you guys want to go through the recap?
We parlayed with the goblins.
We parlayed with the goblins. We lost Garn and Jorlak for a little bit. And now we are at Junk in Thy Trunk to find Garn some armor to make him happy.
Oh, and maybe the goblins invaded and took their tunnels from kobolds.
Oh yeah,
Yes.
that too.
They might be enslaving kobolds.
So we've got no less than 2 schemes to pull off here.
Tom, it did dawn on me like the next day when Daniil asked Jewel, when the two of us were off trying to find Jorlak and you asked about slaves, Jewel's probably more responsive would have probably been to ask you if you wanted to become my slave, because it would have made me more powerful at that point.
I mean, I'm glad that Jewel just didn't think of that at the moment. I don't think he would have taken that very well.
I could honestly see Jewel later though, like later that night, being like, oh man, what a missed opportunity.
I could have had my first slave right there.
But yes, we parlayed with the goblins, came to an agreement that they likely will live with, gave it to the dwarves, lost Garn and Jorlak, and ended up in Junk in Thy Trunk.
Do that, and then we have to figure out how to handle all the rest of it. But we will cross that bridge when we get there.
Gorn has a suspicious amount of money, too, that we didn't really follow up on where it came from. He says it's his, but I don't know. It's
he picked pockets.
We just know that and accept that? I mean, like...
I kind of want to verify that. As untrustworthy as Garnt has been many, many times, I want to give Garnt a little bit of faith. We don't know his full life. Maybe he's been like working some side gigs while we weren't paying attention.
I mean, he is a good
probably
cook.
I was gonna say he could probably set up a food stall outside.
Like a GitHub, or Grubhub rather, like delivers food to people on demand.
Garnhub.
It could be like our idea for the muffin business in Star Wars.
He takes a double move every time, so they call it DoorDash.
Alright, so yeah. You guys walk into this familiar place. You were greeted by the familiar face. Are you guys looking for anything? I mean, obviously you came in looking for armor for Garn, but is there anything else you're looking to try to acquire?
Not I this time.
I'm running out of gold, so no.
I have a bit of gold, so I actually would like to make a small payment on my loan while we're here.
Okay. So yeah, you guys are kind of poking around a little bit. So what can I help you guys with today?
We have our friend, and I indicate Garnd. I'll pick him up if he lets me. And I'll just be like, he needs a good set of armor. He travels with us, and he needs something.
I mean, I have plenty of armor around. Any particular type you're looking for?
Ula looks at Garnd.
Are you still holding them? Are you still holding them in the air?
Yeah, if you let me pick him up, yeah.
Yeah, like he's gonna try to stop you. So as you're holding, he's just.
Show some respect for shorter folk.
Sorry. She'll put him down gently.
Undignified.
You see him just
Ula just kind of shrugs,
he just kind of scampers off.
straightens her bone hat.
So you see him scamper off over to an area that has many suits of armor, ranging from almost like just heavy robes to, I mean, full, regally adorned plate mail. He's just gonna. He's looking around, then you kind of see his shoulders slump again. Every
Feels
suit
nothing.
of armor is made for an average sized person.
Ula is going to. I owe $12.70, so she's going to pay him $300.
Okay.
And also, she's going to. Do you have anything smaller or that can be worked out to be smaller?
Well, I don't have too much to be smaller, but if we find something he likes, I'm pretty sure I can shrink it down.
Ula kind of gives Garn a look like, do you see anything?
He perks up a little, but you can still see he's a little deflated by the whole thing. And you see him kind of go. Just points at a set that's plate mail, and it's kind of a almost like a coppery bronzy color that's tipped at the bottom of each plate with almost looks like silver. That one. Learn like that one.
Ula will nod. And is this something that you could make in his size?
I'm sure I can do something. It might take me a day, but yeah, I think I can do something with that.
How much is it?
Well, that particular suit. This runs about 1,300 silver or so.
Do we know how much Garn has? I can't remember.
It was like 410 or something. Oh, I have a triumph from last time. And can I use it to negotiate the price down a little bit?
Well, triumphs generally don't carry over.
Yeah, but I rolled it just as I rolled it at the very end. It was to find the shop.
Oh, that's right, because you got the double, didn't you?
No, I didn't get a double. I just got one, but I was rolling to find the shop, and I found the shop, had it, and then we were done.
That's right.
I'm willing to pitch in as well. I don't have much, but if there needs to be a debt, I'm willing to take a stake in it.
How much is he short?
About 3 foot.
Janelle doesn't like short jokes either.
Somehow the
just more
scales are
thinking-
getting redder.
Just thinking Joe's just, since it was Father's Day on Sunday, he's just got the dad jokes lined up.
I was fired him off on Sunday. I got to use my my one joke again, so I was happy. We took a break. Like, can we go sit over by the tree over there? No, not that tree. Why not? Looks a little shady to me.
Jewel reluctantly offered to pitch in a little bit too.
Well, as you guys are figuring this out, you see him kind of grab the armor. He's like, come back tomorrow, and I should have this hopefully ready.
All right, then.
Wait, our tomorrow or his tomorrow, though? Because time is different in this place.
It's like, well, that's a very valid point.
Because if it's his tomorrow, it might need to wait like a month of our time or something.
Or it could already be there as soon as we step out.
I'm just going to say we give it a day of our time and we check back in.
Yes, that should work. That should work. Alright, is there anything else you all wish to obtain while you're here?
Not
I
I.
think we're good for now.
Excellent. Alright, well, thank you for making some payment on yours. I should hopefully see you tomorrow. Or you're tomorrow. Nah, we'll figure it out.
A tomorrow.
When you guys show up next, it'll be whenever you show up next.
Won't be before.
Well, you can't show up yesterday. You're already here.
Daniel will leave him to this contemplation. And it was what? 1,300 total?
Yeah.
Yeah, I've got a gold piece I can contribute, so that's 100 off of main price. I'm willing to take on a few hundred in debt if we split it up a little bit.
I'm also willing to put 100 silver into this, but I'm not willing to take on debt. I just cleared my debt. I don't want more debt.
I think if we all pitch in 100, then Garn can owe him too. I mean, right? Like we can. Doesn't have to be our as a party.
Well, if Garn's down with it, of course. We can't necessarily get him into debt without his consent.
Enjoy adulting, Saga.
Here, Garn, you sign up for these credit cards in your name and then charge a bunch of things that the party needs.
We'll totally pay back.
No, please.
Alright, so he wanders into the back. Kind of leaves you guys alone up in the main shop. You guys head out?
Yeah.
Guess so. How does Garn look at this prospect of armor?
Excited, but he's still a little hesitant on it. One, because of how expensive it is. Two, he can't figure out a way to get it without paying. And
Reasonable.
three, he's kind of took what he said to heart of, I think I can do it. So he's not putting a whole lot of hope into it.
So he took it very literally.
Yeah. So as you guys wander out, you can tell that quite a few hours have passed. It's getting late. I believe you guys were going to... If I remember right, you guys were going to go...
We were waiting for the dwarves to deliberate on the set proposal.
We theoretically have to meet up with the dwarven big bosses, try to sell them on peace.
Yeah. Yeah, so far you haven't seen or heard anything since you left him, a few hours ago. So what would you all like to do while you wait?
Did we check into an inn earlier? I can't remember when we got here. I think we did.
Pretty sure you did. I think you did before you... Yeah, I'm pretty sure you guys did before you went looking for the foreman.
Yeah, that sounds really familiar. I think so.
I don't have its name noted, but we can assume we found some lodging here.
I would assume that it was also through the guild, possibly. There's got to be a guild in or...
Not here. That's why it was sent out.
Oh, that's
Yeah,
right.
presumably
That's
they would have
right.
asked their own guild for people otherwise.
That makes sense. Well,
Is
my
it-
goal...
Oh, go ahead.
I was just gonna say my goal would be to, once we find the inn, research, pull out one of the compendium of books that I think I have with me now.
That's true. There was supposed to be a library here as well, wasn't there?
Yes, that was the other thing you guys were coming here for.
So I will find, either if it's too late to go to the library, I'll read what I have, or I'm going to go to the library.
Well, it's not super late. It's late evening, so it's not quite night per se. Yeah, you guys can easily go to the library.
Yeah, I'll do that as well.
Yeah, I will follow behind. I don't know. I may instead of going to research, because, you know, that's clearly Ula's favorite thing in the world. She might just, while you guys are at the library, she's going to go take Jorlak out for a run and find him something to munch on or whatever. Maybe see if I can find a big old bone for him. He might like that.
All right. So who's all? So the three of you are going to the library, and Ula and the pup are going out.
And Jorlak, or I mean, Garnd can come with us or them, whatever.
All right. I will be right back. I had to grab something from my work bag.
Cool.
That's actually really awesome because it's starting to get really cold now, so I need to go shut windows.
I've been bringing my my notebook to work.
Ooh. That's thick.
Yeah, it's super cool. It's really...
Oh, yeah. One of my roommates has a book like that. All like the pages uneven and very cool.
Yeah,
The Necronomicon. Is that what it is?
Almost. So I got a fountain pen for it, but it does not actually like writing in this book.
Just find an eagle feather or something and make a quill out of it.
So,
Totally. Just don't eat the bald eagle.
all right. So, for those of you going to the library, so as you go through, kind of have to walk through a good portion of the area. It's inside the mountain, area that they can easily preserve. It takes you a little bit, but you're able to locate where the library is located. So for those of you who want to do some research, give me a... I guess, well, what topics are you researching?
So, since the topic at hand is goblin and dwarf relations, I want to be looking up dwarf customs, history, and lore, as well as goblins' custom, history, lore. Because I want to have a bit of more of a background on these two races before we start really diving deep into negotiations. We probably should have done this before we met with the goblins, but it would be good to know if once we go for the slavery bit of it too.
I've got a couple of different topics I want to work on, so this may be beyond the scope of a single skill check or the time that we spend here at the library right now. But Daniel wants to research the various mysteries and curses of the North, particularly like the what are they called, the Ice Walkers or the undead that we encountered. Essentially, I may have just made up that name because I can't remember what we called them in universe.
They were the
Ice Blood Warriors or something.
That was it, Ice Blood. I'm getting too much Game of Thrones in there.
yes, the Ice Blood Warriors.
That's what I thought too, Tom, when he was describing them. So you're not alone.
And following up on that, I want to investigate like magical weather phenomenons. Daniel is still bugged by the weird happenings in. Let me look at my map. In Krova, the theocracy to the east we recently departed, where everything was getting a lot sketchier and is maybe connected to Temos, unknown. And finally, barring all that, I, as a player, am not expecting a lot more information, but Daniel will also be on the lookout for anything Dragon or Dragon Rider related to see if there are new tidbits not found in another library.
Okay.
Jewel tonight's looking for information about teleportation spells.
Alright. Alright. So Key, give me one easy perception to dig through. The 3. We're gonna go. Then it'll give me a hard perception. See if you can find anything related to those topics. Jewel, give me a average.
And these are all perception checks rather than knowledge.
Yeah. I may actually make a new skill for the game because I don't know why there's not like a research one. Because knowledge is basically pulling off your knowledge, more or less, where perception is you're trying to find the correct books in this ginormous library.
No, that makes sense for me. And hey, my perception is better than my knowledge, so this benefits me too. And then I apologize if you said my difficulty check. I completely missed that somehow.
Hard.
Gotcha. Somehow I heard Jewel hard. My mistake.
You could always ask the librarian for guidance and maybe get a boost.
I already rolled. I can do that next time, if there is a next time.
Is the next time. Maybe you blew up.
Maybe we go on the run tonight. Who knows?
All right. Yeah. So, you're having a hard time finding pretty much what you're looking for. It's you think it might be in this aisle over here. So you kind of start wandering down. It's not there. So you go check another aisle, and you're just kind of bouncing between aisles, trying to find books or even scrolls on the topic of the weather, the curses, and dragon riders. So far, no luck.
It's too bad you didn't get any advantage, because you could have been like, your advantage was, oh, hey, look, there's a book about kobold something history, or, something that interests you that's completely off of what you're looking for.
Ah, well.
As it is, you pull out a book of dwarves and puberty and what it means to you.
Daniel's mind is 1,000 miles away. He's not even really paying attention to half the books he looks at right now.
Everyone poops but you. So, flipping over to Key. Yeah, it's not too hard to come across like books on dwarven etiquette and kind of like the different clan traditions, stuff like that. Ones you're finding here about goblins, pretty much it's just they're monsters. Put them down. They're just nothing but chaos and destruction. Just get rid of them. Eradicate them anytime you can.
Helps to know their perspective on goblins, so I still find that a success.
Yeah, pretty much their perspective on it is kill them and just don't even ask questions.
The only good goblin is a dead goblin?
Pretty much.
So that also tells me that it's likely our plan will not succeed.
Well, the dwarves were always going to be the hard part.
Mm-hmm. But hey, at least I know dwarven etiquette now, so less gaffes.
Alright. Jewel. Going through, yeah, you hit the dig a little bit, but you're able to come across a very old dusty tome that talks about different methods of teleportation. Specifically, some that talk about the use of arcane magics. Some that talk about areas in the world that almost seem like the veil is thin, but it's random as to where you might pop out. Then there's also information on creating like teleportation circles, as well as anchor points.
Jules going to study intently. Mark, with this, I assume we can't check books out. It's not that kind of library, but mark what this book is in case she wants to return tomorrow.
covers the first hour of you guys digging around the library. What are you and Jorlag doing?
Well, we kind of, is there like do we have to go outside of the walls to do like any?
Hunting? Yes, they do not like people hunting dwarves or anybody inside the city.
Oh,
It's very much frowned upon and is criminal.
well, I guess I just meant, where there are open spaces like inside the walls for hunting, or is that's all outside?
All outside.
Okay. If I go out there, will I be stuck out there because they closed the doors or anything?
There's a good chance it could happen. They do tend to close the external city's gates at night. Now there are some farms out there and stuff like that, so there's that. But yeah, there's a good chance if you go out, at least if you go out for a long time, you may get locked out.
All right. Well, she's gonna pat Jorlak on the neck, and she's gonna look at the sky, and then she's gonna go, "All right, boy, let's go see if we can find a butcher or something that might have some bones for you. We'll go hunt tomorrow." So we're gonna go see if we can find some kind of butcher shop.
Alright, give me an average streetwise.
Nice.
Yeah, asking around a few people, they seem a little unnerved by Jorlak, as he pretty much stands above you.
And I'm not short.
Yeah, and you're yeah, they point you out in the direction one of the, not so much a butcher shop, but like one of the stalls that sells like a lot of meats.
All right, well, we'll head there.
All right. It takes about 5 minutes or so to get there. It's really not too far, especially since you're outside of the Dwarven Hold. There are a lot of shops here, but there's also a lot more stalls and wagons and such from traders. Yeah, as you get closer, you feel something kind of hit your shoulder. Shrug it off. Feel it, something kind of plop a couple times. As you look up, you can realize that Jorlak is salivating.
I know, boy. I know. Please, don't drool on me.
So, as you get close, or as you get to the stall, it's pretty much out the back of a like the it's set up on the back of a wagon, so they've got like all the meats and stuff in it. They can just kind of turn, grab, slap it down, make cuts if they need to. It's not a very big wagon, and so as you walk up to it, you see this very short, gnomish, younger gentleman. Kind of turn around and, well, hello. And he locks his eyes on Chorlak, and you can see him visibly gulp. Just, can I help you? And he starts to kind of like shrink down behind the counter.
My good sir, we were just wondering if we could get some of your biggest cuts of meat, please.
What kind do you want? We've got
What do
venison.
you have?
We've got venison. We've got beef. Got some goat.
Ula's gonna look up at Jorlak and she's gonna be like, venison, beef, goat, and see which one he kind of responds to.
When you say venison, you see like his head kind of just tilts ever so, just very little. Beef, he's just kind of like, just still just drooling. Goat, he doesn't really seem to be too interested in.
I will take a large cut of beef and of venison. And please leave the bones.
Sorry, got a little lion roaring at me.
Oh.
I'm at my computer, so I'm
Give
doing
my
something.
baby.
So yeah, turns around, kind of walks back into the wagon, and you can hear some stuff kind of crashing around in there. As you look at him, you can see him trying to drag like a side of beef by himself. He grabs kind of the hind end of a. He gives up on that for a minute. Walks over, grabs kind of like the hind end of a deer, drags that, kind of tosses it up. He goes back. You can see him grab a couple meat hooks and just slam them in. Walks over, grabs some rope, ties it on, spins around, whips it over his shoulder, and just kind of drags it. When he does it, it falls over, hits the counter, and kind of rolls out and hits the ground. He's like, "Oh, I'm sorry." Well, hopefully that wasn't for you. We'll go 40 silver.
Done. And she'll pull out 40 silver and hand it to him.
Just he kind of goes through, counts it really quick. You hear it hit the other coins inside of his pouch. Like, bones are still in there, so enjoy.
Thank you, my good sir. And Ula will pick up the venison and she'll toss it to Jorlak. And she'll grab the beef.
Okay. So yeah, as you toss it up, I mean, he just, without hesitation, snatches it. Kind of runs off, but it's more like kind of a bounding hop. Then he kind of like jumps up, spins around, watches you as you get closer to him, does it again. Just kind of keeps doing it.
The excited puppy.
Pretty much.
All right. Well, we'll head back. We'll head back towards where the inn is, since Jorlek's going to have to bed down like in the stables.
Okay.
So we'll head that way.
Alright, do you guys want to keep searching for different stuff?
Yeah. Keep digging.
Jewel will just keep bringing what she has.
Okay.
I will work on committing this dwarven etiquette and clan traditions to memory so
Okay.
I don't mess up and get boosts in this conversation that we're going to have later.
Daniel will have the presence of mind to try to find a librarian and ask if there's any direction towards some of his topics.
Alright.
Trying to think what a dwarfen librarian would be like.
Loud and
I imagine
quiet,
like
right?
most librarians.
Gruff and
A
loud,
lot of
but
sense
still
of presence.
really quiet. Yeah, you're, one of the few librarians that are working. This one's kind of an older gentleman, dwarf, and he's like, well, all the places or books you're looking for are kind of spread out all across the library. Which one do you want to focus on first? Said something about curses.
Yeah, let's start with curses.
All right. Anything in particular? Might help narrow down.
Anything on the Ice Blood Warriors in particular.
Oh. Okay. Follow me.
But if all right.
So it kind of leads you through the library and brings you to this one aisle. He's like, all right. Here's your curses. Ice blood, likely going to be on the left side. Not really sure how far down. This isn't really my area.
Thank you, sir.
So after you thank him, he kind of walks off. So go ahead and do another check. This one we're going to push it down to average, and you get 2 boost. One because you know the aisle it's in, and he gave you direction as to which side of the aisle to search for.
Oh, now I got a triumph. Of course.
Alright. Just says one minute, one triumph. Alright, so as you are digging through all the different tomes and everything, one kind of catches your eye. So you grab it. And you kind of flip through it, and it talks about the Ice Blood Warriors and how they have yet to find a cause for it. They can't really find a cure for it. The random acts between those that die in the wild who are turned and who aren't turned, they haven't figured, when they're doing the studies, they can't figure out what it is that's causing the changes. As you go to put it back, you see another, or not another, but you see a couple pieces of folded parchment that are kind of half fallen back through a crack in a shelf. So as you grab those, you kind of carefully open them up, because I mean, the first little piece that you grabbed started to fall apart right away. So you kind of walk over, sit down, carefully unfold it. And it almost looks like journal entries. The first one just says the 8th of Feminoth, Feminoth, which is one of the months. I gotta get you guys the calendar too. So as you go to read it, it says the death toll continues to rise. The section of the mine is cursed. Ever since we opened it up, bad things have been happening. The king has become obsessed with it. He wants to know who built the well, why it's there, what purpose it serves, and he wants answers, but we have none. Another one below that, dated 2 days later. 6 more have died in the search of answers for the king. He grows more agitated with us. I fear this obsession is getting out of hand and is driving him mad. 3 days later, the king has been roaming throughout the mine. He wants answers. He doesn't believe us when we tell him we need to close this. The well isn't safe. It's killing our people. Another one. We have been tasked with closing up this mine, or this section. Darlador will be empty. We're leaving. We need to make a new home. This place is cursed. Another one down from there. Dated about about 100 years, I want to say. Yeah, about 100 later, or 100 years later. A man came in search of the old mine. No idea who he is, but somehow he knew. He was asking strange questions about the well. He's been poking around. He keeps returning. That's the last entry on it.
Well, what the fuck is this? Daniel's gonna pocket that little piece of parchment sneakily when no one's looking.
Alright, give me a
And there's no clear indication of which book it came from either.
Nope, it was just sitting back there, like it fell out of one.
All right, then. Interesting things to share with the party for later.
All right. So, what do the rest of you guys want to do?
It would seem like now if we've been here a couple hours, maybe it's time to go back to the inn. We've had a long day of traipsing down mines and tracking down Jorlax and visiting interdimensional portals and things. So
Yeah, I don't think that's a bad idea.
It's been a busy
Not much
day.
else we can accomplish tonight unless the summons comes now.
Works for me.
Right when you get comfortable. Find that sweet spot when you crawl into bed. Oh hey, King wants to see you. Damn it! Alright, so you guys all meet up back at the inn. You I'm pretty sure Key and Ula are sharing a room. I don't remember if Jewel was sharing a room or if she had gotten her own.
probably got her own. She usually does.
I think Daniel got his own.
Ula and Key are sisters from another mister. And species.
Alright, so are you guys downstairs or are you each in individual or each in your rooms?
Daniel might suggest quietly that it might be wise for them to chat in one of their rooms upstairs, like the party as a whole, just to share what they've learned.
Smart.
That's fine.
And then once they're up there, pass the page around, explain where he found it, all that sort of thing. I wasn't certain at first if this was referring to some other cursed place we'd come across on our journeys, but if this was Dark Uldur, then there's something here that no one has told us about. And I can't help but wonder if it's down in that same mine we visited today.
Like, okay, so you said that the one journal entry was dated like 100 years later,
Yes.
but how does it have like a year? Like, how old were the original ones?
Let me look here. So right now the year is 1217. The year these are dated. The first one is dated 737, and then 842.
Well,
Does that coincide with any other historic events we know about, like the Celestial Wars or anything like that? I'm a little rusty on my timeline.
Let's see, 1217. The time frame kind of matches up with a few things, but the location of where this was does not seem familiar at all. In fact, you being working at one of the academies and knowing cartography, you have never heard of this location that's described in.
It does list a location that doesn't match the name of Darkador or anything that we know. That's what.
Correct.
Oh, so this is referring to a different place with the same name.
similar name.
Oh. Oh, they're just similar. Okay, my apologies. I thought that this was this same mountain. My mistake.
Well, I mean, in theory, it could be. If the first one was dated 737, that's nearly 500 years ago. It could have easily been called something else 500 years ago.
Was trying to think if I could use my heroic ability to get more information about the journal, but I can't think of good enough questions to narrow this down in a meaningful way. So this is going to be a silly question, but to make sure my notes are clear, I screwed up my own notes.
So that is not clear.
Place we are in right now is Dar Kuldur, 2 words,
Yes.
as written on the map. What is the name of the place as written in the journal then?
So the one in the journal is Dar Lodar. Darlodar,
Oh,
all one word.
I definitely misheard that then.
Well, one of the questions you could ask is if Dar Lodar and Dar Kuldur are the same place or in the same area.
Well, if they're not, back when I had misheard it and I thought it was the same place, it implied a different story to me, but I suppose with this we could try to research that location. See if we can find out where that is. It is a curse, but well, I guess that's something I could ask the spirits. I could try to find out if this is relevant to the mysteries we're already working on, or if I'm getting myself worked up for another thread going in a different direction.
I'm trying to remember when we were down speaking with the goblins. They wanted something there, didn't they? Could it be this well?
I mean, I thought they just liked squatting there. It was a useful place to get up to the surface. And it sounds like there didn't used to be any actual connection to the dwarven settlement. Or at least, no open connection.
I imagine that both sides do not know the whole story.
True. I trust that if we can fast talk the goblins, they'll agree to most things, but I'm not certain we can overcome dwarven prejudice in this matter. And we also don't actually know what the fate of the kobolds living down there is. So, lots of things to find out.
And is there any indication on those journal entries of what species wrote it? Like, I don't know if there's any indication, but
Yeah, because it's done in a rune script.
Dwarven rune, right?
Yes.
Makes sense. Oh, and then from before, this didn't line up with like any of the stuff we had learned about, say, Temos, for instance, like that necromancer he had working for him. That wouldn't those people wouldn't have been around wandering the earth around the time someone said, "Oh, this mysterious guy showed up asking about the well."
It's pretty close.
did we ever have dates of like the Mage War, the Dragon Riders, the Celestial War? All I know for sure is that the Dragon Riders and the Celestial Wars came after the Mage Wars.
Yes. I know I do have them written down. I'll get back to you on that one. I got it written down.
How dare you not have all of your lore right now for us, right at this very second,
Right?
Joe?
I know.
Unacceptable.
I am a shitbag.
Yeah. Well, it's also
You
like
see what I have to deal with?
Well, it's entirely possible that this location is now called something different that we're, and it, we currently don't know what this location is.
Could be right under Filter's castle.
It could be in Kutrov. It could, where all that crazy weather was happening,
We definitely need to see if we can find an old map.
Yes,
An
that's a good idea.
ancient map.
500 something years old, maybe.
Perhaps we could ask at Junk in Thy Trunk. He has weapons and armor, but he seems quite old and knowledgeable, much like our other friend. Perhaps he has a map or he has heard of this place. And since we already are going back there,
It's a good idea. Oh, well. A lot of questions, but no clear answers for now. I'm going to sleep on it.
Story of our life.
Meh.
Alright, so you guys heading to sleep? Cool.
Yeah.
Alright, let's go ahead and take a quick break. Alright, folks, we'll be back. And we're back. Whee. Alright, so next morning, you guys wake up, head downstairs.
That's good.
Get some food. So after you guys eat, what do you want to do? You've yet to hear back from the foreman.
Well, we could always stop into Junk and Trunk, or we could try to do some digging around here before we head there.
It is possible that the library has old maps too that we wouldn't have to pay for.
Yeah, I'm inclined to do that, just so we don't chance the armor not being ready and making it awkward. But if we look together, we're sure to find some sort of maps there.
Let's check there first.
Alright, so you guys make your way back to the library. Alright. Still there. So you guys go in. Just start looking around, or
I think we can ask where the if they have any cartography section or storage for old maps.
okay. So another dwarf that works there. This one, she's a little younger. She's like, yeah, follow me. She kind of leads the way through the maze of shelves and racks and everything, and brings you to a section. She's like, this is where all our cartography stuff is located. Is there anything else you're looking for?
I don't believe we have anything else at the moment, but if we do, we'll be sure to ask. Thank you for your assistance.
Yes, please enjoy. And she kind of wanders off. Alright, so are you looking for old maps, or let's see, for this give me a perception. This one will be we're gonna go hard with one red.
Any blue dice?
Yeah, you'll get one, because you know you're looking for one of the very, very older maps. So it can that kind of help narrow it down. I should have made that harder. Alright. So, yeah. Three of you are able to.
Oh crap! Was I supposed to roll?
No, you don't have to. If you're not searching for the map, or for the maps. You don't need to. Basically, it's just for those who are
We
actually.
can say key assisted this time.
Yeah, I'll help comb them over.
By combing over, she's the one that's holding this. You guys are like loading. No, they're gonna be down towards the bottom. You do find one map that roughly dates to just before, like, a little before the date on the map, or the, almost like the journal input. And one that is about 150 years later. So you set them out. You can see. You look at the newer one of the two first, and it looks kind of normal to what you're used to now. Obviously, there's different, almost like political lines or divider lines, whatever you want, borders, basically, for some of these places. Some like the countries here. Some have gotten bigger, some have gotten smaller, some were not even there that you know are there now. And you look at the older one, and you don't see Darkildor anywhere. But over in the Frostfell, just west, just a little northwest, or kind of southwest from Hale, you can see another dwarven stronghold. But it's not on the other map.
So it's in between Hale and where Darkador is now?
No, let's see.
So
Well,
if
you
we had
said-
kept following that path from the Frostfell Woods, we might have gotten pulled into where this location is.
Sorry, you said west of Hale.
Yeah, west, southwest, and west northwest. The Frostfell Woods. Yeah, kind of. If you would kind of continue in that direction, it likely would have led roughly to that area.
So at least we know kind of what we noped out of now.
Does it mention or does it name it by that name? Or is it just a dwarven stronghold?
Nope, it shows the name.
Okay.
As the Dar Lodar.
Yep, Darlodar.
What the hell?
But you see in here, you
My Discord froze for a second there. That was weird.
weird.
Well, that's half of one mystery solved. Although, we still need to ascertain if that curse is connected to any of the issues that we are trying to solve. I might be able to ask that of the spirits as well. Speaking
good
of, are there
idea.
any other pressing things we would like to ask about there? I am all for suggestions.
I think you might want to ask about your kobold brethren in some fashion. Is there a solution that's staring us in the face that we don't know?
Yes. I just see the spirits going, yes. And we're like, okay, why
Well,
can't
we
see
can
it?
wordsmith that better, I guess. I don't feel like going in and just slaughtering all the goblins is a
No, that is very much
solution.
off the table. I have no interest in doing that. But, I mean, stirring up a little bit of revolt, it's not the first time we've sort of played at that.
They deserve it.
I think I know the questions I want to ask. And then, barring anything else the party wants to take care of here, I think Daniel is going to head back to his quarters, set up some incense, consult the spirits.
Yeah, I don't think there's really anything else to do here. We were looking for the maps to see what was going on. We found it.
Give some more answers to what the hell is going on in the Frostville.
It is interesting that these journal entries were found here.
How did they get here?
Well, presumably the 100-year later entry, the one from 842, was written here in Darkaldor. Presumably the dwarves who previously lived there moved to this settlement around that time. Actually, that also gives us a date as to when the dwarves first moved here.
Exactly.
Approximately 500 years ago. Could be useful. We can table that one. But why this page is disconnected here? Absolutely no clue. I saw no books nearby it that even seemed like they might have held it. Like it was hidden back here in a hurry. I have no answers.
How long do dwarves live? Approximately.
Let's see. Roughly 400 years.
Okay. So whoever wrote that is
A little
very
outside of living memory, but not like so far beyond living memory that no one would know who they are, like a generation or two back.
and also absolutely, I'm assuming based on the writing that we can tell that it was the same dwarf that wrote both the one and then the 150 years later one.
Yes.
Or 100 years later one. Okay, so.
This also means in dwarf terms, this is a relatively recent settlement. This is like the dwarves living here, their grandparents settled here. So it's not like brand new, but this is still generationally quite recent. Interesting.
Well, right. And if this is all correct, the dwarves did get here before technically the goblins, because they were saying only 400 years.
But the goblins could also just not have super good knowledge of time either.
That and their lifespans are shorter. So multi-generation means different things.
And also, as far as I'm concerned, regardless of whether or not that section of cave is rightfully goblin or not, the dwarves most certainly were not using it yet. And regardless of any claims they've made to all of the mountain, the people actually living there have a stronger claim as far as I stand. Now, I don't know if we're going to be able to convince the dwarves of that, but
400 years is some pretty good squatter rates.
they functionally got here at the same time, at least in dwarf lifetimes. And they've been living in more or less isolation the entire time. It's like if a wall between buildings suddenly was broken down and everyone claimed the entire complex.
Yeah, I mean, if the dwarves were here for 500 years and the goblins for 400, but neither one had an idea that the other one was there.
Still can't mean they can't coexist, even if they hate each other.
Oh no, I agree. That would be an ideal solution, but
And
I'm fearful of our chances.
we'll have to civilize these goblins a little bit more, because it is not okay.
Well, the slavery, yes, I'm all about freeing slaves, but I've yet to judge who's actually civilized, as they say, here in this mountain.
For now, that is future us's problem. It's my new favorite thing. That's future
Problem for
Amy's
future
problem.
us.
I like it. You don't have to figure out everything now. Sometimes you can push it off to the future.
We'll make it up as we go along.
You mean you haven't from the beginning?
What?
Does you mean you haven't from the beginning?
Us plans, huh?
Yeah, we have plenty of plans. That's why I immediately stopped searching for Yelnellis and got swept up in this shit. Went all the way across the continent chasing a dream. We're told, yeah, you're here early. Go somewhere else. Now we've been wandering back and forth around the middle.
The signs will tell you when to come back for the dream thing.
We see one of the signs. No big deal.
Haven't seen
We'll
the
get there
second
when
one
we get
yet,
there.
so it's fine. They can't start without us.
I mean,
I'm sorry, Danil.
I'm not sure if I trust. What was that?
I'm sorry, Danil. The omens are in another castle.
It's just that scene from The Road to El Dorado. No, can't do it. Stars, not today.
Such an underrated movie.
It's quite good.
Kind of was it Atlantis? My God, look at this! It must have taken like hundreds or if not thousands of years to make. Look, I made a bridge. Took me what, 10 seconds? You didn't drink that, did you? Oh, that's glycerine. Don't make any sudden movements. Don't even burp. Alright, so you guys are back at the inn.
Yeah.
You're up in your room getting the incense going.
I shall spend my story point to activate that.
Story point.
And then question number 1. The cursed well in Dar Lodar. Is that connected to the Ice Blood Warrior curse?
So you get the familiar feeling and sights of something within the mist and the smoke spinning around. Get the one that stops in front. Yes. Moves on.
Was the well ever used by the god Deimos or his servant Umir?
Swirling continues. And just off to your left, you hear. No.
Good to know, good to know. And finally, Are the dwarves actually considering negotiating with the goblins, or are they planning to attack while we are busy?
Swirling continues. Familiar one right behind you. No.
But see, I fucked up and made it a compound question, so now it's not clear which part was no. So this is on me. This is my goof. Wasted the question. Didn't think that one through.
I mean, I could answer yeah, nah.
Okay, well that's good. That's good.
I mean,
I
we're all
was-
from the Midwest here, so
I was sitting there 50-50. Like, this is either bureaucratic bullshit or we are getting backstabbed right now.
But yeah, so the answer yeah was no. So, but like you said, which question was no?
My guess is the no, that they're not seriously considering the proposal. Or they are, and that's why it's taking a very long time.
see, when you were talking, what I got out of it was, are the dwarves actually negotiating in good faith?
See, that's what I should have asked. That would have been a far smarter
And
question.
and no. I don't know if that's actually the answer, the correct one, but that's what I got out of it.
Well, it's a good thing that I brushed up on my dwarven etiquette.
Well, we'll see. Daniel will relay this info to the rest of the party.
Can imagine that like dwarven etiquette is like he needs to grow a beard, he needs to learn how to belch really loud.
Gotta be able to hold your liquor.
It's going in the Book of Grudges.
Alright, so where do you guys want to head to now?
What time of
Midnight
day are we looking at right now?
Trunk?
Time of day, it's still early morning. It's roughly about maybe 10:30.
I don't want to dictate anything, but I kind of want to go back down the depths for some God's forsaken reason. I want to get more information about the goblins and kobolds down below. There's still more we need to know, and knowledge will help us in future negotiations. If the dwarves are going to make us wait before we get terms or worse, we might as well use this time productively. But also, if other people have other things we need to take care of up on the surface, I am fine waiting.
Should we see if the armor is ready first while we're up here?
I've never had a good sense of what time means to that guy, so either way.
My only concern is, since time is weird, we could go there and feel like we were only there for 10 minutes and come out and it's nighttime and the dwarves were looking for us, didn't find us, and now we have an incident on our hands.
I can stay back.
That's a good point. Then we don't risk completely losing contact.
Or we could just go do this first. I don't think giving him extra time is a bad thing.
Yeah, I think we should take care of this dwarven situation first. And then go to Junk in the Trunk if we need Garn to help us in the future.
Like, it would be a real pain getting Garnt down into the pit in the plate armor. Otherwise, I'd say we should get it to impress the other goblins. Show them what a cool dude Garnt is.
Garnt's a gambling chip. Look at what you could become if you just work with us.
But the one guy showed us the easier way to get up and down.
Can you imagine Garn in full plate armor walking that tightrope? Well, it's not really a tightrope, but like, isn't it like a ledge like this thick?
Yeah, pretty much. Total 3-inch ledge.
So I'll strap him to my back.
I mean, it's true. I'm happy enough to try levitation spells, but that worked a lot better for me, but we do have another route down.
Let's go see what we can figure out.
Lead the way.
Alright, so you guys make your way back to the mines. To a screen wipe. You guys are down below. Pretty much back at the entrance. You got more guards out there. All facing towards the opening, waiting for any sort of incursion to come through. You guys go crawl back through the hole. On the other side, you see a couple of goblins, but that's about it. You don't see like the taller one you'd seen before. These ones seem to be almost like sketching areas on the walls. Kind of like where they want to dig, almost like where they want to try to dig out. As you guys kind of start walking by, what you do here?
Yeah, we came to visit. Talk more. The dwarves are slow to decide anything, so we're still waiting on their terms. But we want to learn more about how things are down here.
Fine. What do you need to know?
Oh, anything you want to tell us about your work, about the people who live here, about how things are? I imagine the boss must be working you quite hard.
We work. It's not too bad.
And I'm sure everyone who works here gets a fair wage for their work, right?
I see a little bit. We get food.
But you could be getting more than food, you see. See, now, I didn't tell you this, but next time you see your other buddies working, you should all get together and talk about what you could be getting more from your job, and then go talk to your boss all together. Because if you go one by one, I don't know, they'll smack you around, tell you to get back to work, but when you're all there, well, they still need you to dig the tunnels, right?
Give me a hard persuasion. You'll get one boost because you're talking about them getting more, but you're also going to get a setback because they know that they would. The way you're presenting it is they have to go against the king, and they are not too fond of that idea.
I'm flipping a pip for this. I'm so hyped to unionize some goblins.
He's just watching you in just like utter disbelief. Like, how? Okay. Okay.
What was the difficulty again?
Hard.
Oh, yeah! Sometimes the dice just do what you want.
All right. So yeah, the ones that are working there kind of huddle together, start talking. They kind of turn back. One of them's like pointing back at you. Then they all kind of stop, look back. We go talk to boss now, and they just run off.
You know this works.
Are we alone? Are there no goblins around us?
Yeah, they all just ran off to go.
I'm looking at Danil. Did you just incite a goblin riot?
Well, I mean, that's kind of up to the king now, isn't it? Like, when negotiations like these break down, it's because
How
there
is this
wasn't
going
good
to
faith.
help? Okay, so is this now our time to go and free the slaves with the chaos?
Well, let's see how it shakes out first, because we might be able to get those concessions willingly. I mean, it's one thing to sneak in and free the slaves, which I agree we should do, but if we convince them not to use slavery anymore, now that's a big win for the future. Besides, you were the one talking about civilizing. This is a great step for Goblin society.
I will follow your lead, my friend. This wasn't what she had in mind, but she's gonna roll with it. You took the lead, Danil, so this is your time to shine.
Honestly, I started that conversation just fishing for information on, like, are there slaves, where are they? But it just took on a life of its own. Yeah, let's like take a look around and see if we can find any kobolds here.
All
I
right.
guess.
So you guys kind of go a little bit deeper into this other mine. You start to hear the sounds of pickaxes, hammers. As you get closer, you recognize the corridor that branched off that you had passed where you'd seen him. Are you being sneaky right now?
Let's go with yes.
Okay. I need go. I'm gonna go with the average stealth. You'll get a boost because with the mining, it's making a lot of noise.
Do we all have to do this?
Everybody's trying to sneak.
All right. Sorry, everyone.
Now you're good.
Holy shit.
Hey.
My one dice.
That is a good thing about a role-playing system I bought a little while back called Hardwired Island.
Sorry, guys.
Oh no.
In Hardwired Islands, you can have one person roll stealth for the entire party, and like it takes multiple failures to knock yourself out of stealth once you're in it. It's a real fun system.
Almost reminds me of or almost sounds like the old 5th ed, or not 5th ed, 4th edition D&D skill checks, where you could do an encounter, but each person rolls a different skill, and it all goes based off their roll.
Yeah, I like group rolls like that. They're pretty fun too.
Yeah. Alright, so as you guys are walking along, most of you sneaking along, as far everything's nice and quiet, and everything's good. You can hear, other than the sound of people mining or digging, you guys kind of come to a stop, peek around. When Ula stops, she dislodges a chunk of rock, which kind of cascades. So when it breaks apart, you see the one piece kind of fall, hit the ground, and you see a giant crack start forming up and along the wall, and you just see more just tumble down, which catches the attention of 2 of the guards that are watching over those mining.
Before it catches the attention, just picture Ula like doing one of those things in like a cartoon or whatever where she's trying to like stop it, like hold it back.
You keep trying to like up the crack, but then it just spreads somewhere else.
Yeah, exactly. That's like that would be her before it all falls down. Like trying to stop it, but she just can't.
So yeah, so a couple of the guards, these ones are more of the bigger goblins, come running around the corner, spears at ready. What you do here?
Visible, or is it just Ula who's exposed?
Right now it's just Ula.
Ula turns around really quick and kind of like puts her hands behind her back, just like in the cartoons, seriously. Like she's, even though it's all falling around her, and she's just like, nothing. And she kind of like glances side to side. I am lost.
I'm gonna need a deception. Gotta find what's against. So it'll be 1 red, 1 green. Or sorry, 1 red, 1 purple. And you're gonna get a setback, because the way you're coming, there's no way you can really get lost. It's literally a corridor through a hole in the wall.
All right, here goes nothing.
So yeah, nothing, lost. You lie, you come with us. Really kind of motioning. Move.
How big are these guys?
Compared to you,
Yeah.
they'd come probably about bottom of your, like right under your rib cage.
Okay. She's gonna just kind of look at them for a second, and then she will follow them.
Oh, they're motioning for you to walk in front of them.
She'll look at them, and she's like, "Where you want me to go?"
You go this way. They kind of nudge you.
Is he nudging me towards the where I came from, or?
Nope, deeper in.
All right, I'll go. I'm gonna leave you guys. Right now, it's just two goblins. I stand more than a head taller than them. I can take them on if I have to.
Yeah, it was a big girl. She can take care of herself.
As long as there's no ice and snow around, I'm fine. She's basically thinking, if I get these guys away, then you guys can maybe do whatever you need to do.
So they lead you off. Alright, you guys see these two goblins lead Ula off.
Was there anything specific they were guarding right here, or is this just the middle of a tunnel going somewhere else?
So as you look around, you can see kobolds mining that are shackled together.
I guess once the guards are seemingly out of earshot, Daniel will creep up to one of the captives and trying not to startle them, like let them see him first and like do a shh motion.
Okay. Yeah, they just kind of nod at you.
How long have you been here? When did they get you?
Way back. Weeks.
I don't suppose we noticed if those guards had keys or anything to undo shackles, did we?
You did not notice.
Could we magic them off?
Can always try.
Could be utility spell.
You said
think we
that
should
they said
also
that they'd
ask
been
how
here for
many-
weeks.
Yes, they've been here for weeks. What was that key?
How many of you are here?
So when you ask that, kind of looks at you. Here, 6. But many more.
Okay. Do you have homes, families nearby?
Some have families.
Above or below ground?
In cages.
Hang tight. We'll be back this way. I mean, unless we want to try breaking some locks now with magic.
I mean, we're close to the hole, right? And there's no guards to the hole to the dwarves.
And the dwarves themselves, I am not really certain I trust those dwarven guards with a bunch of kobold refugees trying to swarm across the border. I kind of want to keep
mean-
I kind of want to keep anyone we free with us for the moment, just so we can protect them.
We need to carve out a third kingdom in the middle here for the kobolds in between the other two.
Well, right now I'm not 100% sure if they're just capturing kobolds from somewhere else or not. They may just not live here.
Well, that's the whole thing, though, isn't it? We gotta. Where are they getting the kobolds and why?
Well, maybe we do free these ones, but have them come with us to show us where the others are.
Yeah, that's what I'm thinking. Let's do it. We can use our magic.
Also, just saying, there is another way in and out of here. There has to be, because the goblins go up to the surface.
I was
So
thinking too. And that's probably their best escape because
we should be able to, with all of our magic, hide the 6 that we've got.
by our powers combined, we can break these shackles.
Voltron assemble.
Our powers combined, we are prison breakers. Alright.
Key's all for it. No one should be a slave.
So you guys gonna try to crack their shackles?
Jewel.
I'm debating if we want to break them or if we want to just like pick the locks with magic.
I'd say let's try to pick the locks with magic because having all these shackles might be a good thing to have should things.
Well, I feel like it'll just be more comfortable and also the easier way to get them out rather than just snapping bands of iron.
And it won't make noise in the same way.
Yeah.
Is that a utility to?
Yeah, and be utilizing utility. But this one will need a check. So, whichever one of you wants to do it.
I can take point if no one else wants to.
I also could because I would call on my goddess for this one.
Oh, that might be good then. I know I can also re-roll a verse check with one of my talents, but yeah,
I
either way.
can also remove a die of my choice of any color using
Alright.
my heroic ability.
In that case, let me augment you though before you do it.
Okay.
My dice are kind of hot tonight.
Yeah.
way better than mine. Of course, that's nothing new.
Use my triumph to make my magic completely silent in this instant. Like, you just feel the vibrations through the floor. It's just that low.
Yeah.
And so, yeah, you get an extra green die to your next action.
And then I will call on my goddess, so I should be able to get a boost, correct?
Yes. What do you want to do with your triumph?
Oh, making it silent doesn't even count as my triumph.
No, I mean, it can. I just want to make sure that's what you're using it for.
It's the only thing I can think of right now, unless someone has a better use for a triumph. I'm not going to be too greedy.
Could find a key on the floor and not have to do the whole check at all. But that might be too much.
Maybe one of them knows where everyone else is being kept. That might be a good use of advantage/triumph.
Yes, I like that better.
Okay. All right. So key, I need a divine check. Difficulty is going to be. We'll go hard. It's gonna be 2 red, 1 purple. But you will get obviously the 1.
Oh. Do I get another boost?
Yes, because this is you're kind of going. It's basically the opposite of what your what Fiona stands for.
Okay, so using my divine intervention, I can pull one of any color dice that I want.
Mm-hmm.
So if I get rid of one of the red, I have a success, right?
Yes. You had 1 success and another advantage.
Okay, so I would have 5 advantage.
I think just 4 advantage.
4 advantage. Okay, so I'm gonna do that. I'm gonna use my divine intervention, get rid of one of those reds, so I do have a success.
Okay.
4 advantage.
So, as you call on Fiona, you can feel her basically through the coin that you carry. And you can, with Danil's enhancement of your ability, it almost, when he was singing, it was, you couldn't hear it, but you could feel it. And it almost felt like it was bridging a connection between you and Fiona, to where you feel even more connected to her. You see the shackles begin to glow. You hear a little jingle, and for a moment nothing happens, and all of a sudden you just hear, and you just see the shackles all fall.
Come with us. We need to get the rest of you out of here as well. And get our friend back.
Let's go. Ula, you are kind of brought through a familiar path you've taken once before. Well, technically twice. At one point, they meet up with a couple of other goblin guards, and they kind of fall in line with them. As they walk you through a couple doors, down a couple corridors. You find a large goblin sitting on a big throne. What is this? Come to attack? Come to kill? We've not heard from the dwarves. You said you return. They find you skulking. And that's where we're today.
Perfect.
Of course.
Yeah.
Good job, guys.
Truly a
We
wild ride.
decided to riot, freed some slaves, and are getting in trouble with the goblins.
Danielle trying to start a union.
Hell
What if-
yeah.
What if we just made them like slaves, but like with slightly better conditions? Jewel, like give them Saturdays off, but they're slaves 6 days of the week, and then Jewel could still have some slaves.
I guarantee if Jewel even mentioned that out loud, Key would just start glowing, and all you would just hear would be no.
We could call them servants if that'd make you feel better.
Why don't you just pay them a living wage, give them weekends off, and they can be employees?
There you go.
Call myself Amazon instead, and then not pay them a living wage and not give them time off and work them to death.
I mean,
no.
this is just leading Daniel further and further towards like inciting revolution among everyone involved. Like the dwarves don't want to negotiate. We'll get the dwarves to unionize too. Have fun invading while everyone's on strike, assholes.
I love it. Let's just
No
unionize
gods, no
the
kings.
entire country, the entire continent.
I mean, you've said it, not I.
All right. While we're here, let's go to the printing press. Start printing up our pamphlets.
I almost joked about like Daniel trying to slip them some unionizing pamphlets, but then I was like, the goblins might not read whatever languages Daniel has, so let's not do that now.
See, at some point you're gonna
We'll have to find somebody that like speaks all the languages, and then we can just translate it into all the languages.
And build schools to ensure that there's literacy across the entire continent.
You see one goblin standing up on a table holding up a sign. It actually says onion.
No.
Onion.
Even better, it says onion.
I'm glad our minds went to the same place.
Onionize.
Get out of my swamp.
The people that can read are like onion.
Alright, so that's what we got for tonight. For those watching or listening, thanks for sticking around. Should hopefully be back next Monday. Sorry we were gone for a couple, but it was really hot here, and I didn't want to do much because it was hot. So, yeah, until next time. See you guys next week.